Who should stay and who should go? It's time for a Maple Leafs free agent audit.
You're Locked On Maple Leafs, your daily podcast on the Toronto Maple Leafs. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Hello and welcome into the Locked On Leafs podcast, a daily Maple Leafs centric podcast hosted by myself, Mike DiStefano, and my co-host, Dave Morassutti. Today's episode brought to you by FanDuel. Right now, new customers can bet just $5 and get $150 in bonus bets if your first bet wins. Head to FanDuel.com to get started. Dave, I'm not in my usual recording grounds. I'm in a hotel in Toronto, and I'm here. It's the Sport Card Expo. Listeners of the show, fans of mine know that I'm a big card guy, and Thursday was kind of the first day that they had the expo. And the one thing that I picked up on pretty quickly, there's a lot of people not too happy with the Maple Leafs. And the card market for the Maple Leafs, very much down. A lot of people down on Matthews, down on Nyes, down on Nylander. And the few conversations that I had throughout the day one of the expo, obviously, lots of people stopping chats, asking me everything. Oh, what do you think about, Sundin-Chayka? And I tell them, go check out yesterday's episode of the Locked On Leafs podcast. But I obviously voice my displeasures. And a lot of them are, I can't believe that is what they've decided is the path forward. And so it's not just you and I, Dave. It seems to be the people, everybody who I've chatted with aren't too big fans of what seems to be the most likely GM/president's role that is going to be announced by this team at some point soon here.
Yeah, I mean, it's no surprise. Everything is kind of down on the Leafs. Just if you talk to anybody, it's crazy how one bad year, absolutely brutal year, gets you thinking. And look, and for some people, it's just like, yeah, but you know what? Like, there was a lot of things before that. Even though they made the playoffs, how they,
lost to Montreal, no shows against Florida, and the constant Game 7 losses to the Boston Bruins, the 4-1. It was 4-1, Dave. Like, it's there's a lot of reasons why Leaf fans could be jaded right now. There was a lady today I was talking to. I was talking to a gentleman who said his mother, biggest Leaf fan that she knew, been a Leaf fan for like 60 some odd years. And she finally broke this year and said, I'm done. I'm out, and jumped ship and is now a Montreal Canadiens fan. Like, they're breaking the hearts of diehard, like 88-year-old ladies. Like, it's insane how quickly they've really, how quickly the fan base has this apathy's really set in, and it's sad. And I don't know if Sundin-Chayka is going to have the push that they're expecting. You know what I mean? Like, I have you talked to many people that are like super excited about Sundin coming back in that role? Like, I have people saying, yeah, okay, cool, but like, it doesn't seem to be like
massive. I wouldn't say massive fist bumps, or like people are like, pulling out their Sundin jerseys from their closets, going like, bringing back the old time vibes or anything like that. There was that one account. Why am I blanking on the name right now? He's like
Nylander Fuse or something like that.
No, it's a fan account, but he's been on like different shows recently. Hockey Illuminati, the Hockey Illuminati, big Leafs fan, like calls himself a super fan. He's been kind of big on the Sundin, right? Bringing in Sundin. Like, those are the types of people, like the people who are like, they remember those days like it was yesterday, what it was like to have the Sundin era.
Yeah, and then you hear Ty Domi and Gary Roberts are apparently in the fold somehow to come in and be advisors or work within the Leafs front office structure in some way. And I mean, sure, like I don't think it's a terrible idea to have these people in the building, but like I don't think anyone was clamoring for it, and I don't necessarily know that he has the answers to the test here of how to turn things around for Toronto. You know what I mean? Like he's never been in this position before. Like this is brand new to him, and doesn't mean he's going to fail, right? Doesn't mean he's going to fail, but it's certainly I'm going to be skeptical about it until I see him in practice and see it at work. We'll say. So I believe that MLSE thinks that this is like a home run Sundin-Chayka. We're gonna hit the ground running. We're gonna make the fan base super excited. We're bringing back Sundin. It'll be nostalgic. I don't know. I'm a little. I wouldn't say I'm pessimistic, but I'm skeptical. Yeah, I'm skeptical until I see it in practice. Like, I don't think anyone's going to be out there parading because there's nothing to parade. How do you know he's going to even be good at the job? You're hoping, right? You're hoping that he's a smart hockey guy, right? But you just never know. There's a lot of smart hockey men who failed in management. Tons of them. Lots of them. So we'll see. Again, one of the things, like it's buzzy here. Everyone's talking hockey. And I'm getting the sense that a lot of people are down on the Maple Leafs right now. And I don't think that announcing Sundin as the president is necessarily going to like completely change the vibe in the city until they deliver results. If hopefully they do deliver results.
Well, that's it, right? Like I'm usually one of those people that'll go, like, let's see what happens, right?
Well,
let's see what happens. Yeah, like try to not think total. I mean, in some cases, yes, you can go in that route of being totally down. I usually try to think of some positive way to look at it, or be like, okay, like it should, let's give it a chance, right? I'm one of those people that tries to give things a chance. My thinking with all this is everything I've been hearing about John Chayka the last few days. Super smart guy, was thrown into a situation he shouldn't have been thrown into in his first time executive in the NHL. Okay, been hearing a lot of that, and I also been hearing a lot of he's somebody who's really full of himself.
Yeah,
like
he
thinks
rubs
he's
people the wrong way, right?
Right. If you watch the morning report with our guy Alberga and Jay Rosehill, Jay Rosehill talked about how he thought he was going to have a contract with the Coyotes. The contract office there. They said, let us know by this date. We'll give you some time to think about it. Says, yeah, no, I want to take the deal. And they're like, oh yeah, sorry, we're not going to do it anymore.
Yeah.
Like, okay, I get it. Sometimes contracts, situations change. I get it. But it's just kind of bad. It leaves a bad taste in people's mouths and things like that. I just, for me, it's just when you look back, and I'm waiting to do the full dive back.
Yeah, we'll do it like if this gets announced, almost when it gets announced at this point. It's more of a when, not if. We will totally dive into his, what he did in Arizona. Yeah. And granted, terrible ownership. So like everything needs to be taken with a bit of grain of salt. But the drafting, the developing, the trades, the weird side, there wasn't a whole lot of great. I could tell you that. We'll do an audit, but don't think it's going to come out that great.
I wasn't ready to do that until it was like for sure. Because then it's like, because I mean, nothing is totally set in stone. Like everyone seems to make it seem like, yep, nope, we're all good to go. Like we're just waiting for final things to go.
I still don't know what we're waiting on though. That's the thing. Like if it's out there, every insider is like, yeah, it seems like this is going to happen. What are we waiting for? Like, what the hell are we waiting for? The draft lottery's in 6 days, five days. Like, what are we waiting on? Like if this is what's happening, and it seems pretty much like it is, let's get the show on the road and let's get these guys, so let's put them to work, because there's a lot of work that needs to be done to overhaul this Maple Leafs team, right? At the end of the day, lots of work that needs to be done. Which leads us to kind of the subject of today's podcast. It's Friday, so we're doing our Friday 5-pack, and we're looking at the 5 UFA and RFA decisions that the Maple Leafs will have to make for whoever takes on the GM job. So we'll do that next here in the Locked On Leafs podcast, part of the Locked On Podcast Network. It's your team every day. Today's episode is brought to you by Gametime. There's nothing like playoff hockey live. The intensity, the rivalries, the crowd. It's just different when you're in the building. Playoffs are some of the best moments in sports, and being there in person is something every fan should experience. Gametime makes it incredibly easy to find tickets, even for those high-demand playoff games. In just a few taps, and with Gametime Guarantee, you know you're getting 100% authentic tickets delivered on time at the best price. I was browsing the Gametime app, checking for some playoff matchups. There's some incredible seats available, even for the games that you thought were going to be impossible to get into. The app is super easy to use. You can find tickets fast, and the pricing is all in, so what you see is what you pay. No surprise fees. And with the lowest price guarantee and ticket coverage, I feel confident every time I buy my tickets with Gametime. Take the guesswork out of buying tickets with Gametime. Download the Gametime app, create an account. Use the code LOCKEDON for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account and redeem the code LOCKEDON. Save yourself $20 off your first purchase. Download the Gametime app today. Last minute tickets, lowest price, guaranteed. Welcome back into the Locked On Leafs podcast. Mike DiStefano, Dave Morassutti with you, as we are each and every weekday, Monday through Friday, with brand new episodes of the podcast. You can find it wherever you get your podcast from, and subscribe to us as well on YouTube. Hit the like button, hit the notification bell as well, and please do let us know in the comment section below. Are you guys intrigued by the Sundin and Chayka duo? Based on the comments over the last few episodes, it seems like most people are very skeptical about it, but I'd like to hear some other people who are very happy and thrilled about the possibility. If those people exist, I'd love to hear your thoughts down below. Or if you absolutely hate it and you want to flame it, let us know in the comment section as well. But if they end up taking the job, one of the first things that they're going to have to do is take a look at the UFAs and RFAs and make some decisions on these players. And Dave, we're going to take upon that role today. And for a Friday 5-pack, we're looking at 5 Maple Leaf UFA and RFA decisions that the team is going to have to make in the coming months. So, we should probably just start with the top couple guys, I think, and have those conversations. So realistically, the Maple Leafs, they have 2 UFAs and then 3 big RFA. 2 big RFAs and then a couple other RFAs, some prospects. So in terms of the unrestricted free agents, the Maple Leafs need to make a decision on Calle Jarnkrok and on Troy Stecher. And then for RFAs, they've got to make a decision on Matias Maccelli, Nick Robertson, Jacob Quillen, and then technically Ryan Tverberg and William Villanova are also RFAs. But for the purposes of the podcast, we're talking about the 5 players with the most impact. So that's going to be Jarnkrok, Stecher, Maccelli, Robertson, and then Jacob Quillen are going to be the players that we focus on today. I think Nick Robertson's probably the more intriguing option here, Dave. I think Nick Robertson and Matias Maccelli are probably the 2 guys that I think there's going to be the most debate on. So let's start there. Let's start with Nick Robertson. Last year, he signed a deal through arbitration, ends up signing for $1.825 million. Had I would say maybe his best year. He matched what he did last year. He stayed healthy, career high 16 goals this season, 32 points. Did want out of Toronto at the start of the year. Didn't happen. Ended up played 78 games, which is a career high. He is a restricted free agent this year, does have arbitration eligibility. What did the Maple Leafs do with Nick Robertson? Because I think it's far more of a discussion this year than it was last year, especially if we're going to have new ownership or new management involved. What do you think happens with Nick Robertson?
Yeah, I'm kind of like half and half with him. Part of me sees where he has shown strides, but the inconsistency for me. not really having a clear role on this team. Like, they tried him in the top 6. It worked at times. It didn't work at times. All right, I'll put him on the 3rd line. It worked at times, and it didn't work at times. Like, he's too inconsistent of a player for me, and I just wonder if they missed the boat on potentially moving him when he was performing pretty admirably during the year. I think they thought, if he can really turn things around, this could be a piece that they could use going forward. I thought at his age, 24, which isn't old, right?
Still some time for him to figure things out.
There definitely is.
NHLer. Here's the thing. I do think Nick Robertson.
Yes, he is 1,000% an NHLer. That's
and every day NHLer at that. But I think when you look at the Maple Leafs, so in order for them to tender him to keep his RFA rights, they're going to have to tender him at $1.825 million, which means realistically, if you're going to sign him to a contract, he can either accept that, which odds are he goes to arbitration. He might be looking at a contract north of $2 million, realistically. Like if he got 1.825 last year, he played more games this year, he scored more goals. There's a good chance with the cap going up in terms of cap percentage, he'll probably be in the 2 million mark. Like that's probably what you're looking at for arbitration wise. So you have to be comfortable with that number if you're the Maple Leafs to retain him. Would you be comfortable at Nick Robertson at a $2 million cap hit? Because if not, you might just have to non-tender him and just cut bait on Robertson. I think it's a legitimate chance it could happen for 2 reasons. He may not be what you want him to be, but also like you just need to find a way to make change going into next year, right? Like you've got to overhaul this roster somehow. It's unfortunate. Maybe you could trade him, for a draft pick or something like his rights. Some other team may want his rights. Could probably do something like that to manage something. But I think that there's a good chance that we've seen Nick Robertson play his final game as a Maple Leaf.
Yeah, I mean, look, like you would say if you put his stats up without showing his name, right? 16 goals, 32 points in 78 games. And you said that player maybe would garner about $2 million. I think teams would sign up for that.
The 16 goals especially, right? As a secondary, tertiary goal scorer, like I think you'd be like, yeah, I could stomach $2 million. But then you attach the name to it and, the lack of intangibles outside of the goal scoring.
Yeah.
And then you see the hesitation.
Exactly. You're looking for a team that's so starved for goal scoring and like somebody with a little bit of skill too that maybe has an opening for a player like him. Maybe a team like the Dallas Stars who bowed out and did not have a good season. Like if I was the Leafs and you could tell the Dallas Stars, what would you want if we offered you Nick Robertson? What would you give us? I take whatever they were offering.
Yeah, like 5th round pick. You'd be like, sure.
Yeah, like just get something because I think that I think it becomes one of those. Oh, I don't even know if Dallas doesn't have many picks. Ooh, rough. But like for me, if I'm the Leafs, it's just one of those. We'll try to find you a partner. Otherwise, might just have to let you go. Because as much as it pains me because of what the Leafs invested in him, right? 2nd round pick. He's been in the system since 2019. Yeah, COVID impacted a year of his development, but he's been with this organization for long enough, in my opinion, that I don't know, unless a new coach comes in and absolutely loves the guy and finds something in him that can make it really work. If Craig, especially if Craig Berube is around, I don't see any hope that Nick Robertson will want to stick around for another year of it.
Yeah, I mean, Berube played him though. Like he played 7 games this year, so like at least Berube did play him. Not a whole lot. Like again, he was bottom 6 most of the year. The few times he had a chance to be top 6 Nicky Bobby. We saw some numbers, a couple of goals there, but for the most part, I think we know like he's not a top 6 guy. He's a tertiary goal scorer. Might you could put him on PP2, but hopefully, he's just not detrimental on your 4th line at the end of the day. Can go up in a pinch, but he's not someone who's going to be a top 6 on a playoff team. just not what he is at the end of the day. And if the Leafs want to retool this thing, they got to get better players. And it's a numbers game for me, right? It's a numbers game. There's just you gotta have some sort of turnover so you can get more. Like, you can only play 12 players, and a majority of the, like I said, there's only 2 UFAs, 1 forward UFA this upcoming season. It's Calle Jarnkrok. Calle Jarnkrok's probably not. Calle Jarnkrok's not going to be re-signed. That one's out of the way.
Oh, I will drive him to the airport. I'll help him pack his apartment. I'll do whatever is needed to say bon voyage. He's going back to Sweden. Like, there was that rumor.
The report kind of got extinguished, though. I thought I saw his agent kind of say, "Yeah, that was fake news." I don't know.
Well, it's fake news for him to expect him to leave during the year, which would have been very nice if that happened. But again, what the Leafs are paying him, what he is, his age, and the fact that they got to get younger. Adios, man. Like
he's gone. We don't even need to talk about that. He's gone. He's gone.
He don't.
Robertson. It'll be a conversation of whether or not they bring him back or not. Because at the cap hit it's going to take at $2-ish million, I'm not sure it's worth it for the role that he's going to play anymore. They just need new blood in there. They need new blood at this point. So we'll see what the Leafs decide to do, but I think there's a good chance that Robertson has played his final game as a Maple Leaf. So that was that's probably one that has actually, you know what? Matias Maccelli is a good conversation too. He's an RFA as well that the Maple Leafs need to make a decision on. I think those are the 2 guys where you have the most intrigue on. Let's take a break. We'll come back. We'll get to Maccelli's case and the situation there and whether or not he should return to the Maple Leafs. And we'll finish off as well with the conversation about Jacob Quillen as well as Troy Stecher. So those conversations next in the Locked On Leafs podcast, part of the Locked On Podcast Network. It's your team every day. Today's episode is brought to you by FanDuel. The NHL playoffs are here, and every possession matters. If you're looking to get even closer to the action, FanDuel has a great offer to get you started. Right now, new customers can bet $5 and get $150 in bonus bets if that first bet wins. That's right. Turn $5 into $150 in bonus bets just for getting started. I like using FanDuel during the playoffs. It's got everything I need right there. You can check stats, trends, and matchups before making your picks, which makes the whole experience feel a lot more informed. It's a really easy app to navigate and makes playoff hockey even more engaging from start to finish. Head to FanDuel.com to get started. FanDuel, play your game. The Locked On Leafs podcast continues. Mike DiStefano, Dave Morassutti with you as we continue our Friday 5-pack. So we've already decided that Calle Jarnkrok will be driven to the airport by Dave himself and put him on a one-way ticket out of the city of Toronto. Nick Robertson, I think, is going to be a legitimate conversation. I think the other one that is going to be the most interesting kind of scenario is going to be Matias Maccelli, Dave. And the reason why he's going to be intriguing is just because how much they're actually going to have to tag him for to retain him as an RFA. I know his cap hit was only 3.425 this past season. However, his salary was 4.25, which means that's the number that the Maple Leafs would have to retain him at as an RFA to keep his rights, to tender him. $4.25 million for Matias Maccelli. Do you think the Leafs have an appetite for that based on a player who had 14 goals and 39 points and is, pretty undersized in the NHL?
Well, when William Nylander and Moss Matthews talk about they need more dogs on this team, Matias Maccelli isn't that.
He was a desert dog for a couple of years. Does that count?
Sure. Sure. Like there was a point, near the end of the year where it looked like he couldn't stop scoring, and the Tank Nation was very much against that. It just didn't. It was an awkward fit for him. Like they tried so hard to force that Matthews pairing with him to make that work. It wasn't working, and then at times it looked like it was going okay with Tavares and Nylander, but to me, it's like his defensive game isn't there. for him to, right? And he showed flashes of being a playmaker. Then he wasn't really shooting the puck. Then he started shooting the puck when, felt like it was too little too late for that part of his game to really show up. So for me, it's just like the price tag makes no sense for a player like that. I feel like you could go out and use that money a little more wisely. I understand that the UFA market's brutal, but I just feel like the Leafs have to stop with this approach of getting guys that could be a fit in those positions rather than finding guys that have a bit more pedigree.
Yeah, I just like what else is out there in free agency? Like, how many players in free agency could you bring in that are going to be better than Matias Maccelli? It's a
I have
pretty
one. You and I talked about one already. Well, actually, I don't think we talked about the forward. We talked about the defense.
Yeah, we talked about Darren Radish, but forward-wise, like, I mean, sure, there's going to be a short list of guys for sure. Like
Alex Tuck is going to be like I know he's going to be the most sought after, but
those are different roles. Like, those are different roles. You know what I mean? Like, Alex Tuck isn't going to knock Maccelli out of his role in the middle six. You know what I mean? Like, Maccelli will still have his role.
But like, you go get an Alex Tuck, it pushes other guys down as well. Right? Because if you're bringing in, like, let's say the Leafs went out and they found a way to get an Alex Tuck, whoever's was playing with Austin Matthews last year ain't playing with Austin Matthews because that guy gets bumped. Like, those guys get bumped out.
Yeah.
So, like for me, it's just could you go and find players again who better suit? Yeah, maybe they don't have the playmaking ability, but do they have maybe a bit better of a defensive acumen? Are they better at puck retrieval, especially if they're going to be playing on the second line?
Yeah.
Like, Maccelli just wasn't a fit on the third line either because he's a playmaker, but he's trying to set up Nick Waugh for goals. Like,
yeah,
that's a waste.
When the team was out of it, when they were, eliminated, coming back from the last 25 games of the season, coming back from the Olympic break. He had 15 points in 25 games. So he had a good amount of his, production in the back half. But that's like when the games didn't matter. Yeah. And he also went goalless. Actually, his last goal was March 12th. So he didn't score an entire goal in the last month of his season either, which isn't, is not ideal. I know he's an assist man. He's more of a playmaker, but still very unideal. The issue that I just have is like, in previous years, you could sit there and say, well, the cap space, like that $4 million cap space could be used, more adequately, whether it's being used, as a trade weapon where you can, accumulate cap space from teams that are looking to dump players, but because the cap was so tight for years, but now everyone's got cap space. So it's like, it's not even that. You can't like use it to your advantage. Right? To like go out and acquire players who are of high cap because teams want to get rid of it. Teams don't have to get rid of their high cap players much anymore. So it's not even as though they can, use their cap space to use this cap space to go out and, beef up their talent pool. They got to get it through free agency. It's just not there. So it's like, I could see them running it back with Maccelli. I really could. Especially if you got, like, think about if someone comes in and they're looking for, actually, what was his analytics like? Check natural stat trick, just see what his analytics were like, because that might tell us a bit of a different story. Let's just quickly check and see what this guy was up to in the regular season. Because if AI says that his numbers were good, I guess he would stick around, right?
Well, yeah. I mean, like, to me, it's all about if you're bringing him back and you're paying him that much, you would almost assume that he's going to be in your second line, like at best second line, right? Like second line right winger, right?
Let's say you don't bring him back and you don't land Alex Tuck. How are you rounding out your top six?
How are you rounding out the top six? Yeah. Well,
you gonna have Domi in your top six again?
It could very well be like, right? Like that's at the end of the day, that could just be.
So for this on the season, Matias Maccelli, among all the regulars in the Maple Leafs lineup, actually had the highest expected goal differential on the Maple Leafs team at 49%. So not one regular in the lineup actually had expected goals above 50%. But Maccelli actually did have the best analytics among all the players for the Maple Leafs, which is kind of funny.
Like the only thing I do wonder when it comes to Maccelli is if they decide again. I hate bringing the coach into this, but it plays a factor because how the coach wants a player to play, using him to his strengths, that to me is something you can't ignore. And so that's why I bring up, what type of role will he play? Can he do that consistently enough? Because again, you talk about he had moments where he had all those points, and then he didn't score a goal for the final month of the season. I'm pretty sure he was exclusively playing in the top 6. For him to not have a goal.
Yeah, I mean, again, more of a setup, man, but
yeah,
it's still fair enough.
Chipping a goal once in a while. He had no problem going on a goal scoring tear, for a bit there. There is the capability there. It's just the consistency again. It's a similar thing to Robertson where it's it's just the consistency. And if you're playing in the top 6 or in the middle, even in the middle 6, and you're lacking consistent play, where if you're not scoring goals or you're not setting up goals, what exactly is he providing?
Yeah, I will say analytically, I could see the Maple Leafs keeping Matias Maccelli. Because again, he was top 5 on the team in expected goals against per 60, and also top 5 in expected goals for per 60. So analytically speaking, Maccelli seems to check some boxes for the new Maple Leafs regime.
Then I would sign him to a different deal than him taking the RFA.
You would probably try and get a multi-year deal and
a 2-year deal at what, $3 million? What's he making right now? 3.4,
3.25, I think.
3.25. I wouldn't go more than that. Did he deserve more? I don't
probably sign him to a 3 years, $11 million. I think that could work. But do you want to bring it in for 3 years? I don't know. I feel like I would rather only give him a 1-year deal and see if he can see what happens in 1 year. I don't know if I want to lock into Matias Maccelli for 3 more years. The problem.
No, I wouldn't do 3 years.
Rather pay $4 million for a 1-year deal and have him just accept the RFA because you have the cap space. Then I would lock him in for 3 years, and then after next season, be like, he doesn't work, and then he all of a sudden he's got no value, and you're sitting with another bad contract.
I'm a belief that it was 1 year. So I would if you can make the deal work, or if you know for a fact that you're going to give him a consistent role, you can find him a consistent role, then sure. But if it's going to be a similar situation, if it feels a bit more what are we doing here?
On a per 60-minute basis, Matias Maccelli was on the ice for more high danger chances created by the Maple Leafs than both William Nylander, John Tavares, as well as Max Domi this season. FYI. Just going to throw it out there. Also, Matthew Nyes. Only Matthews and Riley and Troy Stecher, actually, funny enough, were on the ice for more high danger chances per 60 minutes than Matias Maccelli. I think he comes back, personally.
I think there's a better chance he comes back than Nick Robertson. That's for sure.
Yeah, I agree. I agree with that one. So there's that. What about Troy Stecher? That's kind of the last guy who we got to talk about. Saying Jacob Quillen, he'll sign him. I'm not
for me, if he's looking for if he's okay with doing the minimum,
he's an RFA. Yeah. He'll sign another deal, $1 million or less. That's fine. I
think he's a good character guy too. He had good spurts. He was really good when he got here. I think maybe it just was too much right away. They overused them, and they're also playing him with some bad players too at times. And you had to try to elevate Simon Benoit, which is a task and a half for a lot of players to have to do. Yeah. So, yeah, I'm okay with they bring him back. I was a big fan of Troy Stecher. And
wait, are we talking about Stecher or are we talking about Quillen right now?
Oh, sorry. Quillen for sure is coming back.
Yeah, right. Okay, yes. Quillen come back. Stecher, your game to bring him back though.
If the deal makes sense, I'd rather have him than a Tyler Myers as my depth defenseman.
Sure, but like
as a depth defenseman,
I'd rather Tyler Myers. Tyler Myers?
Sorry, no, Philip Myers. Did I say
like what? Wait, what?
Sorry, yeah. I would take him over a Philip Myers because at least I know you throw him out there for 10, 12, 13 minutes.
Injuries occur. You feel comfortable that he can fill in admirably in a bottom pair. The problem is, you look at this Leafs blue line. Riley under contract, McCabe under contract, Tanev under contract, OEL under contract, Carlo under contract, Simon Benoit under contract, Philip Myers under contract, and then you're going to bring in Troy Stecher as well. Now you're looking at eight NHL defensemen.
Yeah, but Myers and Benoit can both be waived, and their full cap hits would be off the books. Like you can waive both those guys.
Sure, you expect that to happen. Myers, sure, but Benoit, I don't know. But I guess that's one way to get rid of them.
Let's not forget that Simon Benoit was a borderline roster player last year, the year before.
I hear you.
Like, I know he had that one goal in the playoffs, and everyone's like, playoff Benny.
And then he had the Superman punch that failed.
And it's just like, again, like, I think if you're thinking about what this team needs more of, I think it's more of what Stecher had brought at times this year and less of what Myers and Benoit brought.
Yeah.
Like he at least can be a little more mobile. Yeah, I know he's not the biggest guy, but he doesn't play like he's the smallest guy either.
Yeah. He enjoyed being here. You know, he had that good run at the start. It wouldn't cost a lot. It'd be a league minimum deal. And for a seventh defenseman, you could do a lot worse than Troy Stecher, I'll say. But that they do need to find ways to change that blue line. They're going to try and be a competitive team. That 7-8 players I just mentioned, like those, they have to infuse at least 2 more guys into that top 6.
Like, are you expecting like to me? Are you expecting a guy like Villeneuve maybe to get a legitimate shot next year?
Probably not. And like, I don't think he really like that. If Willem Villeneuve is on your third pair next year, like I don't think that means you did a good enough job to upgrade your D over the offseason. That's what that would tell me, to be completely honest with you. Like, Villeneuve has had so many opportunities to become part of this blue line this year and didn't, and got passed over time and time again. That should tell you something about where they believe he's at in his development. Should it not?
It's me as he's maybe just more of an AHL guy.
Yeah, and nothing wrong with that. You know, absolutely nothing wrong with that. It's a hell of a lot better of a hockey player than you and I will ever be combined. But it just based on the amount of times that they had opportunity to bring him in, especially late in the year, and didn't. And then finally they gave him like 2 games right at the very end. Kind of tells you that they, didn't necessarily believe that he is for sure part of their future. And if they get upgrades, it should be pushing guys like that down even more. So, if Villeneuve's there, again, he's an RFA, he'll get retained. I'm not worried about him leaving or them not signing him. I think that they still want to invest in him and hope that he breaks through sometime. But I don't think they're banking on him being an everydayer for them next year. And they shouldn't. They should aim higher than that, ultimately. If they're trying to retool this thing and be back in the dance next year, you got to aim higher than William Villeneuve as your third pair guy. Got to aim higher than Troy Stecher, Simon Benoit as your third pair guy, right? Brandon Carlo has to either play better or you got to replace him with someone who is better. Like Morgan Riley has to play a lot better or replace him with someone who is better as well. Tanev has to stay healthy, right? So, it's kind of where they're at with those guys. But yeah, that's about it. So that's the you got Stecher and Jarnkrok as the UFAs, and then Maccelli, Robertson, Quillen, and William Villeneuve, and I guess Ryan Ferberg is also an RFA, but I think that'll just be another kind of league mid deal, bring him back into the fold type of situation.
Put him on waivers and
do whatever. Yeah, like I don't think anyone's too concerned about him. And technically, Matt Benning is also a pending UFA, I guess. He's bye.
That was like, thank you for helping us get with the Liljegren deal. That's all he was brought in for.
Yeah, pretty much. And then
they got to also get some contract space because they're at 42 contracts right now. They got to get some contract space.
Is that with the RFAs and stuff?
Well, that's just they have 42 contracts on the books right now.
Yeah. So let's say you bring in, all right, so Maccelli, Quillen, Tverberg.
It's probably easier to count who's not coming back.
Stecher, Villanova. Well, I'm just saying. So you're at 42, you had 5, you're at 47. So that means you could only bring in 3 more guys, I guess, at that point.
I think I think it resets after the year's over because technically the offseason hasn't started yet. So I think that's what they're currently at.
Okay.
It's for 42.
Okay.
So
I don't think that's a terrible number to be at then.
No, I don't think so. It's just like when you look at these guys to bring back, like I'd rather bet on your younger guys who have shown more promise than guys you already know what they are and
it
haven't really been as exciting.
Yep, I agree. All right, that'll do it for us here today on the show. Thank you all for listening and supporting the podcast. You can subscribe to the Locked On Leafs podcast on all platforms and receive daily Leafs content. Follow myself on Twitter at Mickey_Canuck. Follow Dave at D_Morassutti. And follow the show as well at Locked On Leafs. We'll be back with another episode for you guys on Monday. Maybe we'll have some GM news to share with you guys over the weekend. We'll see. We're hoping. It's got to come soon. We'll see. All right, guys. Enjoy your weekend. Until then, keep it locked right here on Locked On Leafs.